Good morning. I'm glad you're joining me on June 15th, 2025 to celebrate Father's Day. No, this is a live stream to fight CPS, and I'm your host, Bob Pace. Greetings again, twice a day. I do this every day of the week and 14 times a week, and been doing this now for 20 months. All since October 2023. I've not missed a day yet. Anyway, today is a special day that we honor our fathers. My father's in heaven, so I can say hello to my father in heaven. And also, God is a father, too, if you think about it. Happy Father's Day, God. And happy Father's Day to all you fathers that are going through this terrible time with CPS, what I call the Child Protection System. It's a government entity, federal entity, that was mandated by Congress in 1962 to social services to create a group of social workers to look after our children. The welfare of our children is so important. And there's so much abuse and neglect going on that we decided to I decided to take care of our children from neglect and abuse. But after all those years, things have changed. Seems like the abuse has been the other way around, where CPS, the rogue ones, are bad. They're making your life miserable. A lot of you have encountered a lot of different things that have happened to you. Now, I'm glad you found this live stream on Facebook. There are two of them. The morning show that I do is Fight CPS with Bob Pace. The evening one is Fight CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. That led you to these rooms when you found me on Facebook. And I know it's early for people here on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. It's 11 o'clock. And I want to wish all my people a good day. Now, here is the good mommy from Arizona, Kingman, Arizona. Hello, good mommy. You've been on here before. I know you're a good mommy. And you say Happy Father's Day to all the and mommy loves Marino. Okay. That's beautiful. I'm glad you joined me. I'm glad you found me. We're here to help one another. This is an active room, meaning that people can do lots of things in here. We can do emojis. We can, follow me. Also check the notification. We notify when I'm on. And we do talk about topics. We talk about things that help you. We'll talk about my 5 rules that I've come up with that will help you. I also give a lot of encouragement and hope for all you parents out there because you're struggling. Something that over 2,000 people that contacted me have in common. We're struggling. A lot of it's based on income. It's not against the law to be low income. It's just the way that society has been. There's always been a low class of people, low income, through the eons of time. And a lot of it isn't our fault. Some of us were brought up in foster care systems ourselves. And it's interesting how things sometimes repeat. Yeah, you can send me an email about your case and I'll try to read it. It's nice that you can talk about your case on the show and you can call in. Let me put my email up here because I don't know if any of you have it or not. Um, Here's my email. It said bobp@vincentwdavis.com. That's my email. Good mommy. And I'm glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. And I always want to know what the latest is with you. Good mommy. Um, so there's my email. I do need to put up one of the ways that we text comments in here, which Good Mommy is doing. Um, when you text a comment or a question, it's a message you're trying to convey. It must pertain to CPS. So when you text that message, make it in a form of either a comment or a question. Please state your first name, your city or county, your state, and country. Now, the reason why I say country is that I have a lot of people from the worldwide. We have 23 countries, including the US, that participate in this live stream. Countries do have CPS cases that are run amok. They do ask for help here. Whether you're in Indonesia or Bangladesh or India or up to the Middle East and Saudi Arabia or Libya or over in Africa at Liberia or Sudan or Republic of Congo or Rwanda or Mozambique or South Africa, even up to Europe, United Kingdom, Denmark, and Sweden, and then over to North America, to Canada, to the USA, and there's been all 50 states people have called in, including Washington, D.C. We go south the border to Mexico, and then into South America, North Brazil, Grenada on the East Coast. And then we go across the South Pacific to New Zealand, and then to land down under Australia. These 23 countries and 50 states, including Washington, D.C., have all texted a message or called in to this live stream about their situation. All your situation, all of you have something in common. You're low income. And it's hard because you want to get an attorney. That's the number one thing that's going to help you is get an attorney. Now, the law states that if you can't afford an attorney, they'll provide you an attorney for your legal matter. The problem being is CPS controls the court-appointed attorneys, the public defenders. And they're overburdened and stacked with 30 to 100 cases, so they don't have time for your case. They barely show up for your hearings in court. They barely talk to you. And they're not a background that they should be in. See, in order to fight CPS or get your children back, you need someone who's trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those three areas of law are so important. And that's the criteria of the attorney you want working for you. And your public defenders won't be that kind of attorney. And you got to make them work. If you can't afford any other attorney. Now, I also encourage people let me see what else Good Mommy is saying. I need to catch up. She said lots of things this morning. I just want the world to know yesterday that the cop sheriff's office pulled up on me. I'm upset they had no reason why to be showing up at my house. And they gave my baby's father a ticket because he didn't. So basically, the cops came over here looking for me and my baby's father. I told him to tell the cops I'm not here for whatever reason. Why do they want to talk to me? Remember, I was telling you about I go, included the sheriff's office and the CPS. And yeah, it's just so funny how they gave him a ticket and he wouldn't tell me that I was at the house. I'm reading this. I have no idea what ticket that they're giving him. Did he commit a traffic violation? Is he being arrested for something? And why are you guys talking to the sheriff? Did you know, good mommy, yesterday at 3 in the morning in Minnesota, a politician, a woman, politician, young woman, and her husband were murdered. And then another couple, another politician, that was a man, and his wife was shot and injured. I don't know what the status are today, but I keep emphasizing on my show, there is no reason to open your door to anybody. Your door is your castle. Your drawbridge is up. Just remain quiet, maybe hide in the back part of the house, and not say anything until after a while they'll leave. But it isn't safe. I'm telling you. The only thing that people knock at the door are bad things. You know, seeing that ticket that you just won $1 million is not going to come knocking at the door. So you don't answer the door. You don't talk to police or social workers. They have nothing but bad news for you. Now, I know that not all police are bad, but there's enough of them going around. And this person was faking as a policeman. He wasn't a rogue policeman that gone bad. He's faking as a policeman. Now, if they want to get in your house, there's only 3 ways that they can get in your house. 1, if you answer the door and let them in, or one of your family members does. Or 2, they have a warrant. And if you don't open the door, you don't have to see the warrant. If you're outside, you probably will see the warrant. You need to check it out. Warrant is a legal documentation that can force a person to comply with what the warrant says. But CPS and police have used bogus warrants, fake warrants, warrants that are old. You got to first check to see if the signature of the judge is on that paper. It should be a wet signature and it should have the proper date after the judge's name. Now, judges only work on work days. So if it's a weekend date, that's no good. If it's a holiday during the weekday, that's no good. So right there, you can tell whether that's legit or not. Then it's going to have other things on there like who it's addressed to, the children they're accusing, the charges of neglect or abuse or both. It's going to have specific instructions that they can take the child, or they can talk to you, or they can enter your home, or they can search your home. But it's got to have explicit instructions and the date they can do so. And the date they can do so. But you have to be careful because CPS lies. The police lie. Now, I'm being really harsh on the police and really harsh on the government entity, the CPS. But so many of you reported, over 2,000 people have talked to me in the show about it. They all have something in common. Like The good mommy is talking about this horrible time that the sheriff is coming out to see them, like you're a criminal. Now, the cop, she said, came over here looking for me and my baby's father. I told him to tell the cops I'm not here. For what reason? Why do they want to talk to me? Remember, I'm telling you about I'm good. Um, Including the sheriff's office and CPS. And yeah, it's just so funny how they gave him a ticket because he wouldn't tell them I was out of the house. But seeing that she harassment target me because I know I'm in. Well, if you don't answer the door, don't talk to them, you don't have to worry about it, good mommy. There's no law that says you have to talk to them. I just don't understand why they come out here for no reason. Better for me because at least I know that they're thinking about me on a daily basis, about me and my son, where he is at. Um, I forgot a lot about your case, good mommy. I'm trying my best here. This is a woman who sounds like she has a very rogue police sheriff, I guess. And the sad thing about CPS is they use the police erroneously, meaning they use them as intimidation factors, and that's wrong. Police only go with social workers for protecting them from harm, not to enforce social workers' actions, not to enforce their rules. It is wrong. They abuse the police department, social workers do. They use them to carry out the ridiculous rules of sitting there saying that all parents are bad. All parents do neglect of their children. All parents abuse their children. That's not the case. A lot of you misinformed. I mean, there are parents that do abuse children. I know for a fact they kill children all the time. There's over 1,000 parents that are, oh boy, that leave a child unattended for a week and he come back dead. Oh boy. Now, um, Let me, I didn't finish texting a message. Also, the first time you text a message, please tell me about your case. Start at the beginning, the knock on the door, and where you're at the moment. That way I can, you can help me. Now, another way to um, interact on this live stream is to be a guest. All you have to do is send an email to my show producer, Grace at vincentwdavis.com. It's the day and the time of the show. You say you want to be Now, I'm on every night at 7 p.m. And then during the mornings, I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and on the weekends at 8 a.m. They're 1 hour live streams, and those times I gave you are the West Coast of California. It's Pacific Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. Now, with that email, she will respond back with a link that you just copy and paste in your browser, and you'll be on the YouTube video. And we use StreamYard as the software application that allows you to make messages, allows you to do emojis where you can send me hearts and stars, and you can send a lot of things. Now, I know that we have Good Mommy here, and I'm glad you're here, Good Mommy. I don't know where you went, but you stopped talking, but I want to help you, Good Mommy. You need to tell me some more news or even call in. You see, if you're a guest, I can take 9 of you at a time. If you call in, I can only do 1 of you at a time. And so I hope you become a guest on my live stream. I can take up to 9 of you. And if you get knocked off, use the link again. It's good through the whole show. Also, my show producer will tell you about certain things you cannot do on the show. We don't allow eating or smoking or profanity. We don't allow the use of names of children or social workers or judges. So those are the basic rules. She'll help you with your video camera and your audio. She's really tech savvy. I want to thank Grace for what she does behind the scenes to make my show possible. Now, I want to wish Vincent Davis a happy Father's Day out there. He's my attorney. He's my rule number 1. He's the guy that got back my young children. I have 6 children I've helped raise. I'd love to see them for Father's Day. One of them left this morning and in a rush to go to work. He's trying to work. He's my youngest. He's only 19 and he's going to college. Now, I live at Surf City, USA in California. That's south of Los Angeles. I'm 3 blocks from the beach, from the ocean. I am married to that sea out there, that ocean. That's my life. I need to get in the water, or otherwise my gills dry up. Yes, I'm a surfer, and I definitely have surfed the waves around the world. I've been to a lot of countries, and I did a lot of things. I'm more of a contest organizer and administrator, where I've been at the helm of sporting organizations and ran some of the first surfing contests. Like yesterday, I was watching the finals of the Trestles in San Clemente. It was a beautiful event. I've been doing it for a long time. I watched a young boy of 12 grow up to be 53 years old and still compete in the contests against younger surfers. I've known him. And I remember in 1977, the first contest I held there, first professional surfing contest. So the ocean is part of my life. So is my family. I have a lovely family. I'm very blessed to help raise 6 children. I have 42 years of marriage experience. And me and my wife have struggled with CPS because we too had the same problem you had. And I'm hoping to share what's happened to me with you all so you don't make the same mistakes. It's very gruesome. And what's happened to my family is terrible. In 2010, I was laid off through no fault of my own after working 45 years. I had to curtail a lot of things because expenses were there. I had my forever home. I didn't want to lose my forever home. Very expensive mortgage and taxes and those kind of expenses. And sadly, eventually I had to lose my forever home because I needed money to hire an attorney. I felt it was that important to save my family as opposed to struggling to keep my home. Anyway, I've been doing this now for 15 years, fighting CPS. 5 years from 2010 to 2015, I was harassed by CPS. And it was all due partly to a layperson. You see, there's two ways that people report neglect and abuse. They'll call in, and they're usually made up of professional people, which are mandated reporters, that because of the job, they have to report neglect and abuse. Then there are the lay people, the people that are your family members, your neighbors, your acquaintances, the guy that works at the store, or the girl that works at the store. These individuals call in too. The problem is with the first group, the professionals, they get it right maybe half the time. Of the 4.2 million cases last year, 2 million were found to be not true. So if you have 100 people accused and reported by these professionals, 50 of them found not to be true. But because of your background early on in foster care and you continue to grow up and have a family, it will follow you unless you get your case purged. Your foster youth, you need to have that purge because they'll carry with you. They attack foster youth that have children later in life. It's sad, but so many of you have told me that. Um, Today, I hope that you're able to see your child or visit your child or be with your child, especially on Father's Day. You know, a father and mother are the most important people. The biological parents are the best people to raise children. It's been proven time and time again that the best people are the biological um, parents. But so many of them are right away picked up and put in foster care. They're trafficked. CPS does trafficking, which is illegal. It's wrong to traffic a human being. Not only do we have to worry about children, we have adults that are trafficked into the trade of slavery. Sex trafficking is terrible. They're picked up, put in containers, and shipped overseas and work as slaves in places like China. I mean, it's so sad that we have these countries that boast that they're so good at taking care of their people, but they don't. They don't. They they there's too much going on in this world right now. Ah, it's sad that we have one of the smallest countries, no bigger than New Jersey, the state of Jersey, that has to fight a country bigger than Texas. And these two countries are now at it every day, killing innocent people. And it's really tough. It really is tough out there. Um, the children are the ones we worry about because they're the ones that are being destroyed. The children are innocent. But anyway, time marches on, and all I can do is share with you what not to do and what to do. I mean, in my rules, I have 5 of them. Let me put my number up. Um, I know it's early, but let me put my number up here. Now, you can call me at 626-698-0990. My phone number is live. Excuse me. My day starts at 4 a.m. And I walk to the beach to greet the new day. A new day is a new time, a new thing to change, a new thing to do. It's never too late to start a life anew every day. That's why God gave us the cycle of our day. During the day, we work hard, we play hard, we enjoy life as best as we can. Then at night, we rest. We rest of the night. Now I'm a night owl and I seem to get enough sleep with 4 hours, which maybe I should have more. But when I wake up at 4, it's like walking to the ocean. It's still dark outside. It's the twilight hours. People are not yet up or going to work. And it's quiet, and all you got is the crashing of waves. And I look at the waves and say, well, is the surf up? Should I go and grab my board and go out surfing? And I've done that for a long time. I first started getting up that early to see my dad. He was a career naval officer. He rose to the rank of Commodore, which is a 1-star rank. It's a position they don't have too often. That was during the Vietnam War. He fought in World War II and he fought in Korea. And when I think of him as my dad, I miss him terribly. He was gone all the time, so that's why I chose to see him at 4. But then I started going to the beach to check out the surfing because at the age of 7, I was very blessed to be introduced to the sport of surfing. And so I've been doing that all my life. It is my life. It's the number one thing that I do enjoy. Unfortunately, when I got involved with CPS, I had no idea that I'd go through my family being torn apart by an agency, the Orange County Child Protection System in California. It's very corrupt. I tried to deal with the director and the supervisors and the managers in the organization. But it went in one ear and went out the other. They don't listen. The more you sit there and complain, the more they make your life miserable. That is their goals. They don't like people to stand up to them or if they do something wrong. Now, I don't know what the necessity was as having the director have his palace, the Taj Mahal that he had in Orange. Because when I met with him, it wasn't at the typical offices. They're like 2-story block kind of buildings, very drab and stuff. But his was very rich and fluent. You see where the money's being spent. Not only was it the Taj Mahal, like the one in India, it also was like the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. Very rich, very green. So it did me no good. And it did me no good to push the public defenders, the court appointed attorneys. They were miserable. So I knew if I wanted to get my kids back, I need to hire an attorney. I need my wife to hire her attorney. And so I hired 2 attorneys, and that is expensive. You're talking a very high retainer, and you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's one thing I really emphasize. Get legal insurance. Legal insurance will pay for the attorneys. You have to shop around, get 3 quotes for legal insurance. You'll find that car insurance companies do legal insurance, like Progressive. Now, I'm not trying to do a spiel to say the Progressives are great or not. But if I had legal insurance, I would have got an attorney. It would come in handy a lot of times. Because I was trying to keep my forever home from losing it. It was tough. There's no question it was tough. So anyway, fighting CPS is not easy, but you got to follow my rules. And one of the first rules is get that attorney. Now, Mr. Davis is that one of those attorneys. I always tell people to get 3 quotes. Well, I'm going to give you the quote for Vincent W. Davis, and I hope that you hire him. He is an excellent professional attorney, schooled in the area and licensed of family law, juvenile law, and dependency law. He's been doing it for 39 years, fighting CPS and gotten back thousands of children. He's the real deal. He is also a trial attorney. He can do trials. He's also a civil. He can also do civil suits, meaning he can sue CPS. He's done so, both in state court and federal court, and won millions of dollars against them. He's the real deal. Um, all you have to do is get 3 references from him, check them out for yourself, then meet with him and see if the chemistry's right. Right now in LA County, his approximate retainer is $5,000. But the retainer depends on how complex and how long your case has been going on. It may vary, but I'm trying to give an example. Like one couple wanted him to come to Atlanta, Georgia. It's $125,000 to go to Atlanta, Georgia. Again, it all depends on the case, the complexity, how long it goes on. Also, when he goes out of state or out of the north, goes to Northern California, Southern California, he has additional expenses like airfare and ground transportation and accommodations and food. You see, when he lives at home, and his home is in Arcadia, California, in Los Angeles, where his office is. But when you're in another state, the first thing you got to pay for is the license to practice law in that state. Not every attorney has all 50 states licensed. That'd be phenomenally expensive. Why pay for a license you're not practicing law there? So when he comes to state, he got to pay for the license. And I don't really know how much. It all depends. For instance, I was just checking out how much the law license. And in Georgia, the cost to apply for the Georgia bar exam is $442, with a $200 late fee for applicants filing after June 3rd. The required fitness certificate ranges from 400 to 900, depending on how long ago the applicant graduated from law school. The filing fee for the applicant varies between $498 and $648, which includes the fee to the Board of Bar Examiners and additional charge to the National Conference. So you're looking at maybe $2,000. Now, airfare to Georgia is going to be round trip $1,000. Accommodations for a week, and right now they're at $300 a night. That's $2,100. So now you have $4,100. And then food, and you're lucky if you get a meal for $10 now. So 3 meals a day, that's $30 times 7, another $2,100. And car rentals are now at $200 a week. So you're looking at all this money, and you're looking at maybe $20,000 for him to come out. Then he's got his fee to do your case. Anyway, I want to know what's happened to my good mommy. Where are you? And thank you for the thumbs up, Ron Edward Murphy. Thank you very much. And so it looks like good mommy has disappeared. Well, I'm glad you did call in this morning. Not call in, but text me this morning. Good mommy of Kingman, Arizona. Good morning. This is Bob Pace, and I'm with the live stream of Fighting uh, CPS. And whom I have the pleasure of talking to? Right. I remember you. You're the one that was on vacation in Canada with your children, and somehow the Canadian CPS thought your children should be in school instead of on vacation, and they stole your children and sent them to relatives in Florida. Am I correct? Okay, that's a good point. Um, that was really terrible about that. But I still can't believe today that you said that you've talked to the embassy in Canada, you talked to embassy in New York, and they don't want to help you. Right, but you should also still try to talk to the embassy where you live in New York. And they, if they say no to you, then you really got a serious case for Doge. You need to talk to Doge about what's just transpired. Because what happened to you is newsworthy and a first. I never heard of a parent who is vacation in another country where a country has stepped in to claim that your children should be in school. And because of the result of your children not in school on vacation, then they are deported to Florida to be with family members who I hear are not at your best interest with you. They don't like you, right?
Yeah, very contentious to the point of really calling police officers, doing anything to try to get my kids.
True, true. It's a shame that family members aren't there to encourage or help or support other family, because what is a family? I mean, today is Father's Day, and there's so many fathers out there not with their children, and there's so many fathers that are being abused and neglected. I know the feeling. I know it does. It really is sad. I'm spending my Father's Day talking to all of you out there. And I really want to help you all. Of course, my family has been under CPSs for 15 years. It's been a horrible experience. I did get back two of my young children. My third young child was taken from me by the social worker who retaliated against us because we had an attorney that caught her committing perjury while on the stand in court. And she wanted to retaliate. And they say that social workers don't retaliate. I have firsthand knowledge they do.
Oh yeah, they want something else for you.
And they,
And they want
right, they do. And it isn't, it's all based not on that. I know that more Black people and more children, 50% of Black children, by the time they reach 18, will be accused or involved in CPS, which is wrong. 99% of the children in Native American Indians will be accused before they reach an age of 18. Now, it's terrible because the other group that they talk about is the low income group, which may be Indians, which may be Black, but the low income. Low income is a denomination that they think because you're low income that you're neglecting your children. Now, in January, the Congress passed a new law that said that being poor or low income is not a necessity to say that your children are neglected or are being abused. They emphasize in black and white. But the problem is with our Congress passing laws laws are not carried out. We live in a crazy world. This morning I was talking about how the people in Nevada, a woman was a senator in Nevada, not Nevada, I'm sorry, in Minnesota. She was a white woman, and her and her husband were murdered. And then a second couple, both white, and he was a senator, and his wife, both of them were shot and severely injured. So what's happened now is people now are retaliating against politicians. And they got a hold of a black Ford Explorer, the same one that the police use. And they had battle fatigues, armor things. They looked like they're undercover black. And they knocked on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I keep emphasizing, do not answer the door to anybody. If it's a family member, tell them the special ring, tell them the special knock, because no one has to come into your castle when your drawbridge is up. It's your home, it's your protection. It's your constitutional right to not allow people in. Anyway, it is kind of hard out there. So what is the latest on your particular case?
Well, I'm more so concerned about a few things. So my case, I brought it to New York court, brought it to Florida court. In front of various judges in New York, and also in front of one judge in Florida, a very corrupt judge in Seminole County, Judge Christopher Spuskinski.
We don't use names of judges on the show, okay, man?
Well,
yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
At the end of the day,
right.
To the judges, and I presented this case how my children were being neglected, sexually abused, physically abused. Those whole residential school, the dark history of Canada, and how the government treated children, abused them, starved them, and they were buried under school grounds up until 1996. Those practices for how they treat children are still present with how my children were treated while in CPS care, called the DPG, in Montreal, Quebec.
Right.
And they still retain jurisdiction over my children. So when I go to the New York court in the U.S., when I go to the Florida court in the U.S., and I say, I would like my kids to be here with me. I would like my case to be transferred. I would like my files to be moved. I would like you to exert, to assume jurisdiction now because of the mistreatment of my children. I'm being met with, dismissal. Cases are they don't want to assume jurisdiction. And then they say, well, Canada has jurisdiction. We can't touch this case.
That is true because the law states where the incident happened, and if the court's involved, that is the person that has jurisdiction. So the only way you're going to win your case back is to hire an attorney in Canada and fight your case there in Canada. That's the only way you get your kids back. It will if you get the right attorney. The problem is you don't have the income, and that is the problem. I can guarantee if I had the money, if I had my home, I'm pretty sure the value of my home would cover anything to have an attorney to get my kids back. I was very blessed. Yeah, go ahead.
They're not to Montreal. They're already correct. And you're not playing cards with whole day. It's a waste of your time and money. I've been there for over a year dealing with this. I know how it works. There's no accountability. They do whatever they want. The judges just side with them. The lawyers don't fight for you. It is what it is. But under the UCCJEA, which is a Uniform Child Jurisdiction Act, it says that other jurisdictions, like the home state, should be able to assume or exert jurisdiction as long as it's in the best interest of the child. So, being that it's in the best interest of the child, because of the abuse that they've been subject to, all of those things, it would be insane. The documented abuse that they've been through. It would be wrong for them to say this entity, the CPS entity, should continue to hold jurisdiction. Not only that, they were unlawfully removed. They took them, and there was no legal or act, no violation that we were in that would cause them to take them. You understand? So,
well, I understand the practicality that you're talking about, but then there's the reality. There's reality. And in reality, it's going to check in unless you fight the government, unless you go to the Prime Minister of Canada. And
they have institution, they have this and that. What is this? Is this just water? It holds no weight, it holds no ground.
it holds no weight or water because you told me they're corrupt. Anybody that takes a
if they experiencing this kind of mistreatment, then it is not in the best interest of the children for that jurisdiction to continue to have jurisdiction over these children.
well, you're not. It's not how you convince me. It's how you convince the powers that be, and you may have to go to the top dog and make it publicity and make something out of it. I can guarantee that if you contact the Prime Minister and repeatedly contact the Prime Minister, and you have, let's say, $100,000 to hire an attorney, an international law attorney, that knows there are ways they can get your child back. They eventually will. If we can go into a country, fly a helicopter, and get somebody, then I know that we could go and get your children back. It's who you know and not know. And I would go definitely to Doge. I would go to Doge. Have you had any luck with Doge? Right. I provided you the same email address. I provided an email and a website. You can actually get a job at Doge. They have salary positions they're offering at Doge. Now, I provide the website of Doge. I provided 2 phone numbers. Did you call both numbers or just one of them? Okay. And both numbers said they will not take any messages or help you with your matter. All right. Now, no, I agree on that, but there is an email, doge@mail.house.gov. You wait a week, and then you go back to them again and again and again. And your message gets serious and more serious. You start escalating it. And you want to CC your legal defender. You want to CC the President of the United States. You want to CC the Governor of New York. You can get Donald Trump on Truth Central. He has a website. He has a Twitter website. You can CC him there. But on a piece of paper that you write to the Canada Prime Minister, if they say CC President Trump, they CC the governor of New York, they CC the governor of Florida, they CC the state representative, the state senator, and the representative in New York. They CC the ambassador, the embassy in the United States in Washington, D.C. You just CC all these people on your letter. It does carry some credence because someone is going to look at that and say, whoa, what is this case? If you CC NBC, CPS, and ABC, those are the three major news networks. And then you got CNN. Someone is going to read that. Someone's going to look at that email. And you do it more than once. You do it 10 times. You will get attention. And your case will be looked at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm writing those things.
I mean, you CC people because you CC, you're trying to get people's attention that your case is serious enough. So you write your case very simply. I was on vacation with my children. They're under the age they don't have to go to school. And that whoever took them, you name the entity who took them, and then whoever took them, then you tell them that they were put with family members down in Florida without my consent, without any chance of due process. You need to establish that due process was not taken. In due process, the parents have to have their rights taken away. There is a procedure before they can take away the children. They have to have what's called termination of parental rights. Your termination of parental rights has to be done, and it has to be done by a judge, and you have to be present. Or at least give the opportunity to be present. Now, was the Canadian CPS terminate your rights as a parent?
No.
Well, then how did they? Then you ask them, how did you assign my children? My termination of parental rights were never eliminated. I am the legal mother of these children. I am the legal parent of these children. You did not give me or afford me the opportunity to go before a judge to question the termination of my parental rights. Well, it's a little bit too late because there's time limits on stuff. All you have to do, and I guess I should, what city in Quebec, this Quebec, Canada? Montreal. Okay, the way the format works, Montreal is a major city. So the first word you put in here is Montreal. You see M-O-N, Montreal. See, T-R-E-A-L, right? E-A-L. You put Montreal, and you put a comma, and you put the state, which is Canada. Oh, the state. Yeah, I'm sorry. Quebec. Sorry. Quebec, Q-U-E-B-E-C. Yep, I got that. Hold on, I'm going slow. I'm not very good at this typing. But this is how I tell people Quebec, and then you put comma Canada. Then you just put, I got to spell Canada right. I forgot the A. Then you put A. Then you put CPS, all capital letters. Now, just that amount is going to bring you all the stuff about CPS. So what question that you want to ask them? What question do you want to ask them?
And how my kids were turned off to me. the judge already heard my case, and that hearing that they had in March was supposed to be a hearing, well, according to them, where they're supposed to resolve, okay, the judge has ruled, and now we want to work out having the kids either come back to you or whatever. And then they kept me out of that hearing and then told me to call a relative and tell her we're having this hearing. And then in that hearing, we were all in. They booted me out. The judge booted me out. And then made some arrangements so that my aunt can pick up those kids.
Well, I'm gonna first put enter and see what shows up. Oh my goodness. This is now in French. Hold on. Okay, I reversed it. I reversed it to English. Okay.
And they go to the name DYP. Okay, every city has a like CPS acronym. The Director of Youth Protection, DYP.
So far, they're not talking about that. They're talking about suicide. I'm trying to hold on.
Yeah. CPS, probably not that much. But they have a lot of systemic racism there. They take in a lot of
the First Nation people. They call their Native Indians there the First Nation people, and the indigenous Indian tribes in Canada, the First Nation people, are very much abused. I know that because I dealt with so many of them up there. Hold on. I'm trying to get away from suicide. So I got to put something more than just CPS. So,
I'm calling it the full youth protection. But they call it youth protection there. So CPS, Child Protection Services, they call them youth protection.
Youth.
Maybe that one.
Protection.
Mm-hmm. Here's another. Are you looking at that? I don't know if you can.
It's called
Question.
It's called PQJ. It offers most vulnerable youth age from 16 to 25 as they transition to adulthood. It's not what I think we're looking for. Here, let me type out. It says CPS. Let me try the Child Protection System. Spell it out. It's child.
You have to put DP. Director of Youth
Protection.
That's the thing. Like, they're not going to come up. They don't, wherever they name their organization, they don't come up under the name CPS. And remember, that's their first language there is French.
Okay.
So even if you do get.
Well, I found out that they call their system is called the CIUSSS. Does that ring a bell? The DPJ. It's called the Child and Youth Protection Center, DPJ. Let me see what they say in here. To report is to protect. They have a phone number 24 hours a day, 365 a year. Yeah. But they do have a phone number that you can call them. And they put people. Okay.
each entity, these people investigate this, investigate their organization. They do this thing. It gets nowhere. You can go on TikTok and other platforms and meet plenty of other mothers that put their stories out there from this city and this protection organization, and they all have the same thing. You can write the mayor, you can write the director of the organization, Leslie Hill. I've done all those things, and people there have done more.
Well, I'm telling you, you don't need to go at the lower level. Again, the new Prime Minister of Canada, the new President of the United States, Donald Trump. We have a U.S. citizen that has been abused in Canada. Donald Trump would like to know about that. Oh, did it work? Did it work?
Being in the jurisdiction is jurisdiction over my kids. If I got CPS in Florida involved, right,
they're not going to waste the time because you know why? They're corrupt in Florida. They're not going to give you the time of day. Well, I understand that, but your case isn't with Florida. The Florida CPS will. Well, I'm just trying to. Okay, I'm trying to do a two-way conversation with you, and I know that you're focused on what you're trying to present, but I am trying to tell you things too. Go ahead, I'll listen.
He's saying he can change anything in the case because Canada has jurisdiction, even though a relative emergency, temporary 30-day jurisdiction, so she provides some proof that she actually should have these kids. But in the meantime, he says he doesn't have jurisdiction. If I got CPS involved and they were to open a file with my children in Florida, whether or not they took them into care or not, or left them there, but there was an open file for them in the U.S., would that be enough for them to say, okay, well, they opened the case, CPS in Florida opened the case, so even if the people in Canada had some case and it's still pending or it's still open, if the kids were taken into care by CPS in Florida, or they had some case open regarding these children, would that be enough to keep them in the country so that in the event that at the end of this month they decide to terminate my rights and call those children back to Canada, that DCF in Florida would then say, well, we are actually involved in overseeing this case because you put these kids with a relative that's not qualified, that's, violating this, and this when it comes to this family. And we're going to take over this case, and that will be enough to at least stop them from claiming these kids back. That's my question.
Okay, and the answer to your question is that if what you told me is true, that they took your kids in Canada, Florida will not intervene or get themselves involved. First of all, how did the children get from Canada to Florida? Who paid for the airfare? Because how do they get on board the airplane without a passport?
The kids go. So you're saying she can't stay in this country, and her kids are here, so let them come back. So they were then they said, oh, we want them to have passports. We want them to get passports in order to come. Now, by them saying that now we want passports, I didn't have passports for the kids because you don't need that to come to Canada. You drive through.
Wait a minute. You have to have birth certificates. Did you have birth certificates?
Exactly. That's how we pass through.
Right. But if you have the birth certificates, how did the Canadian people get the birth certificates?
Okay.
Right, but how did the Canada get the birth certificates from you? If you're the Why did you surrender the birth certificates? And you tell them, on the advice of my attorney, it's illegal to take my kids and say no more. Your problem is you cooperated with them. No, what will happen is that what would happen was that when they tried to board the plane, the security. Do you want me to give you an answer? You keep cutting me off. I try to give you an answer and you cut me off. You answered me, and then my next question is why did you give them to them? What law told you had to give your children's documentation? You told me the U.S. Embassy in Montreal wouldn't help you. Why would they take? Okay. Ma'am, yeah, we're going to have to finish this conversation because I've gone well over my program time. It's now 9:33, and I can only go to 9 o'clock. That is the rules of using this. I'm still talking. All right. Ma'am, with all due respect, you sit in here and I can see why your kids are in Florida because you think you have all the answers. I'm trying to help you. You tell me you don't deal with the embassy. How come the embassy is talking to you? You told me they don't talk to you. You told me. Well, then you tell them I'm not giving you my passports. It's like the person that opens the door. He's dead. Why did you open the door? Well, that is a scenario. I'm telling you about people that are killed because they opened the door. Why do people open the door? Why do you allow them? Like in my case, I did allow them to do a lot of things. That's why it took me an attorney. That's why it took me over $500,000 to get my two boys back. And they retaliated. You ask them, could you show me the law? Could you show me the statute that says you can do that? That is your right in court to be shown the law or the statute. What constitutional right? See, what constitutional right did they have? You have to ask them, what is your constitutional right to take my children? The damage has been done. You've allowed them to go to Florida. You allowed them to take your passports. But your case is the only case I've heard because all the other cases of people in trouble in other countries, the embassy has stepped in. And if the embassy doesn't step in, Washington, D.C. has stepped in. There are parents of children that were bringing drugs into the country illegally. in Thailand, Indonesia, things like that. You know, not everybody's corrupt. Well, you're going to have to go to Doge and write the email. You're going to have to take the hard way. I'm trying to tell you the easy way. But you're insisting that everything I suggested is wrong and will not work. Well, I don't need to be told because I know that they may be corrupt, but I know that if my children were in custody, first of all, I said, why are you taking my American children? I would have got a hold of a news reporter in Quebec or Montreal or wherever, Canada.
Syrian, the people against the war in Palestine.
Yeah.
And I went up to him.
Well, I'm not trying to be respect, but it's 9:37, ma'am. I've never gone this late. I'm 30 minutes late and I'm going to get reprimanded and I may lose my right to be on this show. I'm sorry I'm being rude, but I have to curtail my show. So I would hope you would call me at the beginning of my show, not halfway towards the end. I've tried to give you as much time as I have to talk to you. I've talked to you for a good half an hour and I want to help you. But in order to help you, you have to help yourself. And maybe you have to get so mad at me that you will strike out and talk to someone that will listen to you. You need to make your record, audible. Good morning, Cruel. I'm signing off, Cruella. And I know I'm glad I'm still here, but I've gone over my time, Cruella, from Ventura, California. Please call me tonight at 7 p.m. That's Pacific time. That's on the west coast of California. That is 3 hours ahead of your time, ma'am. And so if you could call me back at that time and continue with your story, maybe we can work together and figure a solution, okay? Well, I do. I do want to help you. I am more patient, but I do have restraints. So, anyway, I'm saying goodbye. I want to thank the good mommy from Kingman, Arizona, and Cruella from Ventura, California, for calling in, and you from New York that has a horrible case that I just cannot believe. I've never heard of any story like yours, that they are refusing. Nobody wants to hear you. Nobody. And that is, I just think there are avenues. I mean, if the people can protest, you can carry a sign in front of the embassy, a sign that says a message. My children are stolen in Canada. Help me. You could do that in front of the White House. You could do that. There are other ways you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be so angry myself. I would go buy a big piece of paper and a wooden stick and put a message very simply on there. Help me. My children are stolen in Canada. And maybe someone driving by will see that. I mean, you can protest. It's a constitutional right to protest. Legally, you can protest. You can't shoot people. You can't take the law into your own hands. You can't hurt others, but you can legally protest. You don't need to go out in the street and stop traffic. There's so many things these protesters, the problem being is these protesters are professional protesters, are paid to protest, and they really are, they're stupid. They're stupid. Anyway, I want to say God bless to you. Keep trying. Don't give up. All of you, keep fighting for your kids. I'll be here again. I've been on here now for 20 months. That's twice a week, 14 times. So I've not let you down. I'll be here. I'll listen. I will help. I will research. I'll spend more than my allotted time. So with that being said, there would be a very important message to listen to from Vincent Davis. Please listen, and I will see you tonight. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce him. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last